14.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Authorities named the Miami suspects shot by officers in Sunday's confrontation.
And we have a little bit of dense fog this morning, but a warm and sunny afternoon in store for us.
Plus, a female driver is hospitalized after a fog-related rollover crash.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
And it is a cooler day out there today. We'll, of course, talk more about that, but something kind of cool happening in Jasper County. It might be baby fever. Jasper County's birth rate, the number of live births per 1,000 people, is the highest in the state of Missouri, according to CDC data. KOAM's Samantha Walker has the details on what could be some of the reasons why.
12.58. That's what the CDC puts Jasper County's birth rate at. The number beats out both state and national averages. The only 2 states that beat out the county's birth rate are Texas and Utah.
For metropolitan areas like Jackson County or St. Louis County, that we stack a little bit higher than those counties, but our average age is also lower than those counties.
Lori Worthington with the Joplin Regional Alliance for Healthcare says one key reason for a higher birth rate is the average age of mothers. The county's overall population is younger, with the average age of mothers nearly 2.5 years less than the national average. She says age impacts fertility rates.
As we age, our fertility drops a little bit. So all of those factors combined make us a likely candidate to maybe have a slightly higher birth rate.
While Jasper County's birth rate is high, nationwide these numbers have dropped 10 to 15% in the past decade.
It's people working, it's people waiting later in life to have children. The list could go on and on about things it could be from.
That list also includes resources.
When they feel like they have the resources they need, that they can find affordable ways to live, and that they're able to feel like they're going to have a supportive solution and system for their kids and their family.
She says Jasper County and the Joplin area have so many great resources for new and expecting families, from community Facebook groups to Head Start programs, nonprofits like One Joplin, and even health department programs.
This includes the WIC program, an income-based nutrition program operating in the county since 1975.
You start off with a healthy, nutritious food. It just gets the child set up from the start to succeed later in life.
He encourages anyone with eligibility questions to reach out. Reporting in Joplin, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Next week, we'll have more on how birth rates can impact the workforce and why Jasper County's above average rate is sparking optimism about the community's future.
It's definitely interesting for sure. I mean, it's great for the community in the future, obviously. Yes. So that'll be interesting. You'll have to stay tuned.
Babies are great.
Yes.
And they get to enjoy the beautiful weather we're going to have this week. And weekend, Elise has mentioned that we've been starting off pretty cool. It feels like fall out there when you first take a step outside. Now, today we have this dense fog that we want to watch out for. So this is currently what's going on. Now you can see in northeastern Oklahoma and even in spots in southeastern Kansas, we're seeing fog dropping down to less than a mile visibility. But on our future track, we could see fog anywhere in this area, dense patchy fog with visibility dropping down to about half a mile and less through the morning. Now it all does burn off by about 9 a.m. thanks to our sunny skies. So sun starts to come up and that's gonna really just burn that fog away. No clouds expected today. Overall, it is going to be a really just great day. Temperatures warm up rather quickly. By 11 a.m. we're already in the mid 70s, and then we're also seeing temperatures getting into the low 80s today. So here we are at noon, mid to even pushing up to upper 70s, with our high hitting about 80 to 82 degrees across the 4 states. Now, once we get into this evening, we could see a couple of clouds, but overall, another clear night with temperatures getting into the upper 50s, so very similar to today. Now, those clear skies continue all weekend long, but we're having warmer temperatures through the end of the weekend. I'm going to have all those details coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, the FBI identifies the man killed by a federal agent Sunday in Miami. The shooting victim is 37-year-old Cody Ryan Mayfield of Miami. The FBI is now leading the investigation due to the tribal enrollment status of one of the parties involved. The incident began Sunday morning when Mayfield crashed his vehicle into a motorcycle. He then got into an altercation with the biker and shot him before fleeing. The motorcyclist suffered non-life-threatening injuries and drove himself to a hospital. Officers found Mayfield's vehicle 3 blocks away at a residence where he lived. Investigators say Mayfield came outside with a gun to his head, threatening suicide and ignoring verbal commands. He then pointed his gun at officers and exchanged gunfire. Mayfield died from his injuries at a hospital. The OSBI is also assisting the FBI, and the U.S. Attorney's Office will decide whether to prosecute or decline charges. And troopers say a dense fog contributed to a rollover crash in Jasper County yesterday morning. The crash happened at around 5:45 at Baseline Boulevard and County Road 210. Missouri State Highway Patrol says a female driver traveling south went through the intersection at highway speed into the trees. Her vehicle came to rest tangled in a homeowner's fence. The driver was taken to an area hospital by a private vehicle. And former FBI Director James Comey is indicted. Comey was charged yesterday in a 2-count indictment, which includes making a false statement 5 years ago while testifying before Congress. He's also charged with obstruction of a criminal proceeding. The indictment comes days after President Trump seemed to urge Attorney General Pam Bondi to prosecute the former FBI director. The indictment makes Comey, who was fired months into Trump's first term, the first former senior government official to face prosecution in connection with the Russian interference investigation linked to the 2016 presidential election. And of course, to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can always download the KOAM News app. It's available on free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, the Kansas Air Tour made its first stop in Parsons this week, bringing planes, pilots, and STEM education to local students. The tour dates back to 1928, but after an 80-year hiatus, it was relaunched in 2008. Now, since then, volunteer pilots have traveled across the state, introducing kids to aviation through hands-on activities and presentations. Now, this year, more than 1,000 students have already taken part, including about 80 in Parsons. Organizers say the goal is to spark curiosity about aviation, a $20 billion industry in Kansas.
One of the STEM toys that we did is called a Whirly Bird. It was the first toy the Wright brothers played with when they first became interested in aviation. I have no idea what these kids are going to do, but we invented the GPS in Kansas. A Clyde Cessna took off and landed 13 times before he actually figured out how to make an airplane. Kansas is a place where aviation innovation occurs. One of these kids is going to be the next Amelia Earhart, the next Lloyd Stearman, the next Walter Beach, the next Clyde Cessna.
Organizers say events like this can inspire the next generation of aviators. And local high school culinary students got a taste of learning out of the classroom. McDonald County High School students yesterday were at the town and country supermarket, and the students gave out samples of their homemade barbecue sauce while learning about the safe serve practices. This is part of the project-based learning style from their teacher.
The whole thing, they get participation points throughout the week on each step that we've gone through to get to this point. We've done some math, we've done writing, and there's been a lot of things that go into just making that recipe.
Now, the students were given a choice of making different kinds of barbecue sauce, Memphis, St. Louis, or Texas style, and both groups picked Texas. And one Joplin invited the community to celebrate a new story installation at Leonard Park Story Walk yesterday morning. The event featured photos with Southwest Missouri Bank's Moolah Moolah mascot and a children's book giveaway. The story, School is More Than a Building by Kelly Donner, reminds us that school is more than just a place to learn. It's a community full of teachers, friends, and shared experiences. And Harbor Village is turning back the clock this weekend with its annual Pioneer Day celebration. Visitors can watch blacksmiths at work, see butter churned by hand, and even try their own skills at rope making and corn grinding, along with hands-on fun. The event also highlights the people and cultures that shape the 4 states, from frontiersmen to indigenous communities.
Our hope as an organization that they can take home some useful skills that they've learned, something to reflect on, to say, that's what my ancestors did, and wow, how did we get from grinding on a stone grind to an actual mill? Just different daily living skills that forced us into the industrial age.
Well, from live reenactments to hands-on crafts, Pioneer Days offers activities for all ages. The event runs through Saturday at Harbor Village. For times and ticket details, visit our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Chris Kattan joins us ahead of his performance tomorrow night in Pittsburgh. Plus, new research shows dogs help prevent childhood asthma, but cats don't. And we have sunny weather across the 4 states. Lindsay returns with another look at your forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now 7:10. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We're joined this morning by a very familiar face, comedian and actor Chris Kattan. Now, you might know him from Saturday Night Live, Night at the Roxbury, Corky Romano, and so much more. Now, he's in Pittsburgh tomorrow, but first, he's here with us. Chris, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me on your show.
Absolutely. So talk to me a little bit. Of course, you're a comedy legend, and so many know you for such great work that you've done over the decades. But talk to me a little bit about what people can expect tomorrow when they come out to see you in Pittsburgh.
Well, I'm doing stand-up, so they can expect a lot of stuff. It's a great break from reality, and it's great to come out and laugh. And I talk about Saturday Night Live, and I talk about my personal life, and it's just a great time. And I love doing crowd work, and there's some improv as well. And it's just a great time. Everybody who comes to my shows always has a great time. So if you're looking for a break this weekend, it's great to get away from something that you're doing. Oh, sorry, I put my finger on the lens. Sorry, I'm not used to this. And yeah, it's just a terrific show. It's just a lot of fun. It's a great time.
Absolutely.
And
yeah,
I just talk about Saturday Night Live a lot, and it's a great, it's a very funny show. Everybody seems very happy, and I get to meet people after the show, and I'm looking forward to it. I've never been there, so I've never been to Philadelphia in Kansas.
Absolutely. Now, you've talking about making people laugh and connecting with people, of course. So just talk to me a little bit about, traveling all across the, country, touring, what it means after all these years to still be able to make people laugh.
Oh, it's such a great feeling. It's very fulfilling to make people laugh, It's a great, I'm very fortunate to have a gift to make people laugh, and I love just going around different cities and making people laugh. It's one of the joys in life right now for me, so I can't wait to do it this weekend. I hope people can laugh here.
Yes.
So I think they're ready to laugh where I'm coming. Okay, good.
Yes, absolutely. Now, you mentioned a little bit about Saturday Night Live, and you're going to talk about it in your show, of course. Is there any little details or any insight you can give us right now just into what people might expect, or any little tidbit for us?
Well, I talk about more cowbell a lot. I talk about, the mango.
Oh, yeah.
And I talk about, just the origin of the characters, and how it was, working with The Rock, and, different stories. And, it's just a lot of fun, just a lot of, of course I do The Rock's very worried about my head. And everybody loves that. So everybody walks away having a great time, and I'm thrilled to come there. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like it's going to be quite the exciting time. Chris Kattan, thank you so much for your time. Of course, he's going to be live tomorrow, Pittsburgh, Kansas Crossing Casino. Don't want to miss it. Chris, thanks again.
Of course. Thanks a lot. I'll see you there.
All right. Bye-bye. We'll be right back.
Okay. Bye-bye.
RVs in every size for every budget. Endless here at Wade's RV.
We have temperatures only in the upper 50s now, so we're starting off again another cool, crisp morning. You can see a gorgeous sunrise out there, 32nd and range line, so a pretty nice start to our Friday. Now temperatures for most of us are a few degrees cooler this time today than they were this time yesterday. Now, Carl Junction, Joplin area, right on par with where we were yesterday, Yates Center, Fredonia, Sedan, even Carthage. But that's all going to change for this afternoon. We're actually going to be several degrees warmer for the high of the day than we were yesterday. Yesterday we got up to the upper 70s. Today we'll be in the low 80s, 80 to about 82 degrees for our high. Now, we can thank this high pressure system. You can see where our winds just lift north of us, and that's going to bring in a lot of warm air from the Gulf and even from the southwest. That's going to drive our temperatures up as we head through the weekend, and it just sits on top of our area all weekend long, and that's going to bring just that warm up and even calm weather all weekend long. So we're not expecting any clouds, not through today or even through the weekend. So you can really enjoy outside throughout the entire weekend. Now temperatures may be a little bit warmer for some people, and we're about average to going to be slightly above average as we head through the week. But taking a look outside downtown Pittsburgh, just a great day, great start to our day, especially with these cooler temperatures. 55 in Joplin, Pittsburgh, Lamar, 55 in Stockton, looks like 55 pretty much everywhere, 59 in Oswego, 51 in Parsons, so still pretty cool out there. Now, we do have a little bit of fog that's going to be starting off our morning as well. This is our one big disruption for our day today, and it could cause some issues with your morning commute because the fog is still going to be around through about 8 to 9 a.m. Now, you can see about 8:45 still seeing potential for patchy, dense fog, dropping visibility down to less than half a mile. It burns off rather quickly as we see the sun rise, and that just helps get rid of all of that extra moisture in the atmosphere. Now temperatures are still going to be rather cool as we're heading off to school in the next hour or so, in the upper 50s, but we warm up quickly. Noon we're going to be in the mid 70s, and then for our high for the day we're going to be about 80, 81, maybe even 82 degrees as well. So as we head through the rest of the weekend, again, this high pressure system just sits on top of us thanks to a cutoff low. That cutoff low means it is not a part of our upper level jet stream. You can see the jet stream is a little further north. That typically happens this time of year and into the rest of the winter. So that cutoff low just sits there all weekend long, brings us those very mild conditions. We have that all the way through Monday. So you can see our warmest temperature is going to be on Sunday. Once that cutoff low brings in another front, that is going to cause our temperatures only to be in the low 80s for the rest of the week. You can see 82 Wednesday, 81 Thursday, 82 on Friday. Another round of thunderstorm chances on Saturday, and that's going to drop our temperatures down to the upper 60s by next Sunday. So we really get our little hint at fall next weekend. Until then, you can enjoy pretty mild weather and temperatures in the mid to lower 80s. That's a look at your forecast. We'll be right back.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
On Health Watch this morning, many people who caught COVID now have a weaker sense of smell, and they might not even realize it. An NYU Langone health study tested COVID patients and found 2/3 of people who didn't report any problems with their sense of smell still scored low on smell tests. And researchers say the number of people with a diminished sense of smell may be much higher than previously thought. Cases of newborn syphilis are rising in the U.S. New CDC data shows cases of the sexually transmitted infection, which can be passed from mothers to babies, are up nearly 700% since 2015. The data also shows other sexually transmitted infections are declining in the U.S., with experts crediting greater awareness and prevention tools. And babies who grow up around dogs have a lower risk of developing asthma. Canadian researchers say the reasons why aren't clear, but exposure to dog allergens at a young age could help desensitize the respiratory system. The research also showed that exposure to cats at a young age did not have the same effect on asthma risk. Well, coming up, President Trump announces new tariffs on pharmaceuticals, furniture, and heavy trucks.
And we have a pretty mild day in store for us, with temperatures reaching the low 80s today.
But you know what?
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
And welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29. I'm Elise Snowy. Well, trucks collide and crowds cheer at last night's Demolition Derby in Joplin. The second annual event brought together truckers and families for an evening of high-impact entertainment. KOAM's Shannon Becker has more on what you can expect throughout the weekend.
This 3-day event, GBATS, the Guilty by Association Truck Show with 4 state trucks, the Demolition Derby tonight. Then Friday, trucks who pre-registered still arriving. There are food vendors on the properties at noon and 5 on Friday. They have burnouts in the pit area. So see the schedule for the tractor pull, fireworks show, motocross stunt team, and more burnouts. The event wraps on Saturday with the world's largest convoy for Special Olympics. They'll circle the city of Joplin and then end on 26th Street with a huge light show and a free concert at Cunningham Park with country superstar Colin Ray. All the information is on our website at GBATS, the Guilty by Association Truck Show by 4 State Trucks. I'm Shannon Becker for KOAM News Now.
Now tonight, big truck and tractor pull starts at 7:30 p.m. Let's take it over now to Lindsay for weather.
Through this morning, we want to watch out for the dense fog that we could see across the area. So once we're going through the morning, fog could drop visibility in certain areas, and this is going to be mostly northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern Kansas, maybe even pushing into Missouri a little bit. Could drop visibility down to less than half a mile. So that's something that we're going to want to watch out for. Could disrupt your morning commute, but it burns off rather quickly because of the sunshine that we're going to see. Ample sunshine, not expecting any clouds, rain, or anything. So really the fog is the only thing we're dealing with today. Temperatures warm up into the mid 70s by 11 a.m. and then our high for the day getting to about 80 degrees. So by 12, 77 in Joplin, Pittsburgh, across really all the areas out in southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma. And then our high getting into the low 80s, only hitting about 82, maybe 83 for the high across the 4 states. Now tonight we have another crisp, cool night in store for us with temperatures getting into the upper 50s and clear skies continue. Now I'm going to have a look at the weekend forecast coming up shortly.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, Oklahoma's controversial top school official says he plans to resign from his state position. Oklahoma State Superintendent of Public Instruction Ryan Walters says he now is going to lead a conservative educators group. Walters says the nonprofit Teacher Freedom Alliance will be focused on assisting educators, quote, in their mission to develop free, moral, and upright American citizens. During an interview last night on Fox News, Walters said, quote, we're going to destroy the teachers' unions. During his time in office, Walters mandated public school teachers incorporate the Bible into lesson plans, suggested potential teachers take a woke test, and had pushed for all Oklahoma high schools to have Turning Point USA chapters. Oklahoma's Attorney General Ginter Drummond, a fellow Republican, weighed in on Walters' departure by saying, quote, we have witnessed a stream of never-ending scandal and political drama. It's time for a state superintendent of public instruction who will actually focus on quality instruction in our public schools, end quote. A longtime foster care advocate celebrate a milestone in the 4-state area. Foster Adopt Connect, who serves both Kansas and Missouri, cut a ribbon and opened their doors to the community in recognition of 25 years of service. KOAM's Kenny Foreman was hands-on for the festivities at the Joplin branch.
The Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce held a ribbon cutting at the Joplin branch of Foster Adopt Connect, which is celebrating a quarter-century of service. The organization strives to keep families together and prevent children from being taken in foster or adoptive care.
If we can help avoid a child being taken out of their home, away from either their biological parents or their biological families, grandparents or whomever, we want to do that because we believe the best place for a kiddo, no matter the trauma they've experienced or are experiencing, is with the biological family.
Many of the organization's specialists have been in foster care themselves.
To be the branch director here at Foster Adopt Connect is to support and enable the specialists that are here, that are in the trenches, the boots on the ground, servicing our kiddos and our parents to help them provide safe and secure environments to the kiddos and keep their family units together as a whole.
Foster Adopt Connect also operates Sammy's Window, a clothing and food pantry accessible to children in foster and adoptive care.
This is a boutique that's available to anyone who's ever been in foster care, even if it was just for a week and they're now 25 years old, or they're currently in foster care, children, foster parents. They don't even have to be clients of ours.
Sidon Stricker hopes he can inspire others to continue to fight for better lives at home.
I challenge anyone to argue with me that our society is not broken, and it starts at home. And if we can make our parents better and help our children not just survive the traumas they've experienced, but thrive beyond those, then hopefully our cities, states, and nation will get healthier.
In Joplin, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
Well, anyone in need of help can make a referral at fosteradopted.org. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Road rage turns deadly in Miami. A driver shoots a motorcyclist and dies in a gunfight with police 3 blocks away. Shannon has that and more in his big 3 stories of the week. Time now, 7:35. We'll be right back.
Hey, 4 States, Chris here with...
Welcome back. We have Shannon Becker in the studio with these big 3 stories of the week. Shannon, good morning. Happy to have you as always.
You look beautiful as always. God, I love that color. Let's take a look at the big 3 stories this week live and local. What's happening where you live. Our number 3 story, tragedy in Miami. A man had a traffic crash, what we understand initially about 3 blocks of his residence, and then exchanged words with the man and then shot him. Fled the traffic stop to his residence. And police in Miami located him quickly with tips from people that were witnesses. Then it became kind of a standoff. They thought it was a mental health issue at first, but then he raised a gun at officers and it became an officer-involved shooting. He did die at an area hospital. They did release his name this week. We've got that updated on our website, KOAM News Now. And more details. Also, they've released services for his family. And then our number 2 story, Joplin News First, another rollover crash. It seems like we've had a lot of them lately. This one happened at 34th and Main, where we've actually seen some fatal crashes before. Rollover there that almost hit the Joplin Fire Department station number 4.
Wow.
They did a Joplin Police major crash investigation. They're still looking into what really occurred in the crash. There were a lot of skid marks that I noticed on the pavement, but it seemed like it was a high velocity crash. Our number 1 story, well, nobody died in this one. How about that?
Yes.
I know it sounds horrible to say, but it was right after the show last Friday. This pickup truck rear-ended a tractor trailer. I know. And this is a young man, a teenager from Carthage. The sun, this time of year, in the morning and evening, it glares right in your eyes. And had some trouble obviously seeing. He was trapped in the truck, broke both of his legs. So when you break a femur, that is a life-threatening injury. You could bleed to death. He did not, obviously. They flew him from the highway, which is very dramatic, very amazing that they could get him to the hospital so quickly. Stabilized, and he's recovering, and he will recover. I talked to some of his family even yesterday. And our bonus story of the week, I talked about it last week, I'm talking about it still. It's the GBATs, the Guilty by Association Truck Show. So let me tell you about it. Tomorrow is the world's largest convoy for Special Olympics. Last night they had the Demolition Derby.
Look at that.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to one of these. They won't have another one. That was just last night. They are just, it's crazy.
Wow.
I don't even know what kind of vehicles these were.
After just beat up ones.
Yeah, garbage. Crushed. Then they had these burnouts. They're going to do them today at noon and 5.
Oh, fun.
So everybody gets out there. I was always told, I don't want to ruin my tires, but
Sure.
I guess that's a thing nowadays. So they haven't had those for a long time. And then also tonight they'll have a big motorcycle stunt show. They'll have a tractor pull. There are thousands of people out there, and most of it's free to the public. Of course, you can just come and go, and there are hundreds of trucks to look at. It's really, really cool. They got some special things. Elvis's airplane is there.
Oh, really?
His
Wow.
last airplane he bought.
Okay.
They made it into a vehicle, which looks really bizarre, but it's really interesting.
I'm sure
really,
it is.
Really
That's fascinating.
Yeah,
Check that out for sure.
So it's on display right there by the big sign, right there on 43 Highway. It's Petro, Four States Trucks. It's all right there. So
All
check
right
it out.
there,
The
yeah,
G-Bats
can't
this
miss it.
weekend.
Wonderful. Well, Shannon, as always, thanks so much. Happy to have you. We'll be right back.
You save.
Temperatures are only in the upper 50s today, so we're definitely having a much cooler start today than we did yesterday. We're actually several degrees cooler, especially south of I-44. We're about 5 to 7 degrees cooler today, this time today, than we were yesterday. Now, Carl Junction, Iola, Yates Center, right on par. And in fact, we're going to be a bit warmer today than yesterday for our afternoon high. We're getting into the low 80s, about 80, 81, 82, plentiful sunshine, warmer temperatures today, and warmer consistently throughout the weekend. Now, we can thank this high pressure system. You can see how our winds lift north of us and then push further south out to the east. That's a high pressure system. It brings in a lot of warm air from the south and from the southwest that just drives those temperatures up. Now, we have pretty calm weather because of high pressure systems as well. Not expecting a lot of change in temperatures, not expecting many rain chances because we don't have any low pressure systems moving through that bring cold fronts or warm fronts. So we're staying pretty consistent, clear weather. You can see downtown Pittsburgh, nice little sunrise this morning. We do have a bit of fog that we want to keep an eye on, but overall it's a great start. Now, temperatures in Pittsburgh, 55 degrees, Fort Scott, Iola, 51 in Parsons, so definitely a little bit cooler out there. Now you can see 58 in Independence, 59 in Oswego, so warming up quickly. Now again, we want to watch out for that fog in the morning. Now this continues for the next hour or so. It burns off rather quickly, and it's just showing where we could see the potential for dense, patchy fog, with fog dropping visibility down to half a mile or less. So definitely could disrupt your morning commute, but once we move past that fog in the morning, we're going to be dealing with just beautiful temperatures, upper 50s to start, a light southerly breeze with our high getting into the low 80s. Again, sunny all day long. Really can't complain about this kind of weather. Now, once we head through the rest of the weekend, this high pressure system just stays on top of us, but we have a cutoff low, which means it's not quite connected to our upper level flow. Now that's our upper level flow. It's a jet stream. Typically in the fall and winter, it sits further north of the U.S., but it does still bring the potential for a couple of these low pressure systems. Now, once we move through the weekend, we've got that high pressure on top of us, so we stay warm and we stay seeing these sunny days, sunny skies, but this shortwave trough does start to rejoin with the upper level flow, lift further north, and it may bring us a couple of isolated chances of rain by Monday or Tuesday. But the next thing that we're going to be watching out for is a deep low. You can see it very far out west. That's going to affect us next weekend. So until then, we just have very consistently mild temperatures. Chilly starts to our morning in the upper 50s, low 60s all week long. 83 on Saturday, 85 on Sunday, and sunny skies. So we're going to be in the mid 80s most of the week. You can see 84 on Monday, Tuesday, 82 Wednesday. So this little temperature difference Tuesday and Wednesday is when that short wave trough that we looked at, the short wave low pressure system, does bring our temperatures down a couple of degrees into the low 80s through Friday, but that big low pressure system out to the west is what brings our storm chances next Saturday, and that's going to drop temperatures down from the low 80s to the upper 60s, and then we're going to really experience those consistent fall temperatures. Now that's a look at your forecast. We'll be right back.
Well, in Consumer Watch, economists are seeing a troubling trend: Americans falling behind in saving for the future. Now, a new survey from Bankrate finds 3 out of 5 American workers say they're not where they should be with their retirement savings. Now, of that group, 21% feel slightly behind, while 37% feel significantly behind. And compared to their retirement contributions last year, 36% say they're about the same this year. But nearly a quarter say they're not contributing at all and didn't last year either. Bankrate says that's a call to action. President Trump says his administration will impose new tariffs on a range of items, including pharmaceuticals, furniture, and heavy trucks made outside of the U.S., and he's citing national security purposes as the reason why. The announcements were made in a series of social media posts. The president is slapping the largest tariff, 100% on pharmaceuticals, and the company is in process of building a manufacturing facility in the U.S., while the others range from 25 to 50%. The tariffs are set to take effect October 1st. And Amazon has agreed to pay out a historical $2.5 billion settlement to the Federal Trade Commission in a case accusing the tech giant of duping customers into signing up for its Prime service and then making it difficult for them to cancel. The FTC will provide $1.5 billion of the settlement in refunds to impacted customers. The company will also pay a $1 billion civil penalty. Amazon neither admitted to or denied the allegations in the case, adding in a statement that the settlement allows the company to move forward. Well, a new report finds Gen Z's credit scores headed south, while a Wall Street op-ed asks if the generation is unemployable. Fox Business correspondent Kelly Saberi has more.
A new report finding Gen Z is facing a harsh new financial reality. Their credit scores are plunging. The average FICO score of 676 is well below the national average of 715. Experts say pandemic spending, student loans, and poor money habits are all factors. Meanwhile, a new Wall Street Journal op-ed asks this question: is Gen Z unemployable? Hiring managers prize achievement, learning, and work. Today's youth value pleasure and individuality. It's written by Susie Welch, a professor at NYU's Stern School of Business, the widow of legendary business executive Jack Welch. In it, she details findings of her research, which she says, quote, agitated nearly everyone. One of her most startling findings: just 2% of Gen Z members hold the values that companies want most in new hires, namely achievement, learning, and an unbridled desire to work.
A lot of Gen Z grew up in a participation trophy culture where winning or achieving was diluted, and even if you lose, you still win, you still get a trophy. So that's a huge issue. But I have found over the course of the last year some incredible Gen Z hires.
Take a look at hiring managers' desired values for new employees. Number 1 is achievement, wanting accomplishments and success other people can see. That comes in 11th for Gen Z, with 61% saying they wish they had less of it in their lives. Number 2, scope, desire for learning, action, and stimulation. That's 10th for Gen Z. Number 3 is work-centrism, the desire to work for work's sake. 9th for Gen Z, and only 2% of Gen Z respondents identified achievement, scope, and work-centrism in their top 5 values.
It takes so much work to onboard a young person who doesn't have experience with basic, email and Microsoft tools. We can get what they deliver with AI now. So I think there's a big risk to what's going to happen with these kids.
A recent national survey shows 65% of Gen Z believe a college degree alone won't protect them from AI disruption. 53% are seriously considering blue-collar or skilled trade work. In Chicago, Kelly Saberi, Fox Business.
And those are our top consumer stories. We're back with the final look at the forecast and today's Wake Up Recap right after this. This is your Wake Up Recap for September 26th. The top stories to start your day. The FBI has identified Cody Ryan Mayfield, age 37, as the man killed by a federal agent in Miami on Sunday. The incident began when Mayfield crashed into a motorcycle, shot the biker, and then fled. The motorcyclist, non-life-threatening injuries, drove himself to the hospital. Officers found Mayfield at his residence, where he threatened suicide and then exchanged gunfire with police. He He later died from his injuries. The FBI, assisted by the OSBI, is investigating. The U.S. Attorney's Office will decide whether to prosecute or decline charges. And troopers say dense fog contributed to a rollover crash in Jasper County yesterday morning. The crash happened around 5:45 at Baseline Boulevard and County Road 210. Missouri State Highway Patrol says a female driver traveling south went through the intersection at highway speed into the trees. Her vehicle came to rest tangled in a homeowner's fence. The driver was taken to an area hospital by private vehicle. And that's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
We have pretty mild temperatures through the weekend today, getting into the low 80s, sunny skies. And we're starting off our mornings in the upper 50s all weekend long, with the highs in the low to mid 80s. Warmest temperature on the forecast period is going to be Sunday, but you can see we stay in the low 80s through Friday. Our next chance of storms is until next Saturday, bringing those very fall-like temperatures by next Sunday. So we do have, if you don't like 80-degree temperatures, we do have a week of them.
Right.
But then we do get back into those upper 60s, which is going to feel phenomenal.
Yeah, that time of the year.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning on the KOAM News on Fox 14. We'll, of course, be right back with more news and weather at noon. Have a great rest of your morning.